Welcome to the In Season podcast, rated R for language.
None of us are doctors or neurologists. The things you're about to hear are opinions of people living with epilepsy or seizures. These are firsthand experiences. Epilepsy can cause speech problems, and the medications are hard to pronounce. So please bear with me.
Epilepsy can cause bad memory, so some stories will be repeated. I'm Pookie. Get ready.
I was just diagnosed this week with a seizure disorder. Ooh, that was this morning. I was just diagnosed this week with a seizure disorder, and I'm really nervous about starting medication. I'm already on Cymbalta for chronic pain and Zoloft for depression and anxiety, and my doctor wants to start me on Keppra. Is anyone else on here also on meds for pain, depression, anxiety as well as Keppra? What's your experience? Online, there's stuff that says Keppra could interact with my Cymbalta, but my doctor says it won't. I'm so nervous. I'm considering asking my doctors if I can replace any of the meds with medical marijuana. Does anyone have any experience with that, especially in a state where recreational weed is illegal? Thanks in advance for the help and any advice offered. To smoke in another state that's not suggested, well, illegal. I mean, legal yet. I don't suggest it, especially here. What is it? What did he say? Anxiety meds and stuff. I haven't taken those, and not with my pills. Well, I haven't taken them at all, so I can't relate there.
Well, I mean, the weed might help with the anxiety if he just the thought. I mean, if he's on taking all these anxiety pills, he might get rid of the anxiety. That I'm just speaking off the top of my head. I don't know what I'm just
Yeah, I don't like Keppra, anxiety. I don't. I don't the weed will probably be a mood stabilizer more than other meds. But yeah,
I got a comment here. It says, I would advise against medical marijuana personally because it can cause more issues. It's normally used as a last resort for drug resistant epilepsy. Even then, doctors will still recommend CBD oil over it. It just might worsen your depression and cause more anxiety for you. I have taken around 11 seizure meds, and Keppra was my first one. I'm on Zonegran now. Keppra can be very effective for people though. I would give it a try. However, it can cause anger issues. And if you start having problems, you can always change it. There are a lot of other meds if you can try. It's kind of a trial and error process. It's a good response. Somebody said they start with Keppra as well as it's well tolerated in most individuals and has a low profile when it comes to adverse effects patients experience. Medicinal marijuana is not an effective treatment for the majority of people with epilepsy. It will either do nothing, make things worse, or possibly have a reduction in epileptic events, and that's as far as they know. Not from THC, hence why specific drugs like Epidiolex have been developed. Medical marijuana or that drug, for example, seems to have effectiveness in people with certain epileptic syndromes. Dravet, for example, by reducing the frequency of seizures they have, but not obviously leading to cessation. Anyhow, there will be no contradiction taking Keppra with your current medications. If you feel there is, do not hesitate to voice it and make sure it is double checked. Will not recommend medicinal marijuana for the reasons above, and I don't believe he would recommend it anyhow. I'm not gonna say I recommend it, but I'm gonna say it's done me some good. So it's done me a whole lot of
Like I
good.
said, I'm not a really big marijuana guy myself, but I think it sounds like this person is kind of missing the point about marijuana. It's not actually used to treat epilepsy. It's actually used to, is it more for like helping appetite and just the symptoms of pain and stuff after? I mean, does it actually, I don't know this at this point. Does it actually prevent seizures? I mean, I
Um,
don't think, no, not from,
I don't say it prevents seizures.
no, that's not my understanding.
I haven't had a seizure because of it.
Me neither. I mean, I don't think, yeah, me either. But this person's question was about Kepra. Um, the Kepra question. Um, I would just, you don't have to stay on Kepra forever if he's concerned about it. Um, just start off with it. I didn't have a good reaction with Kepra, so I changed my drug.
Yeah, this
There's
person was
tons.
just diagnosed a week ago, so I said try it out.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, he said he did
Yep.
his research on what else it doesn't go with his Cymbalta, but the doctor's telling him go ahead.
And you got that option too. Just research, but also be
Also,
your advocate. Yeah, okay. Go on.
okay. I also just want to say, like, don't over research too before, like, if you're newly diagnosed, don't over research because there is a chance that you may, like, placebo affect a side effect in your head just because of how conscious and anxious you are of having that side effect. So, like, that's something that I tend to do. So when I first start taking a medication, I look at the basic side effects and try to leave the more rare ones to the side and stuff so that I don't placebo affect myself into thinking like, oh, this is gonna do this, or someone had a bad reaction this way, so that must mean that's gonna happen to me. So don't overdo the research, give it time, and like time is a very valuable thing when it comes to medication and learning how it reacts in your system. So if you're newly diagnosed, don't over research your medication too much because that can also lead to not that can lead to you not understanding your medication just as much as you understand it in a way, if that makes sense.
Hey, you start going down rabbit holes and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, this can be
Yeah,
really
and then you
crazy.
convince yourself like, "Oh, I have this one symptom, so it must be related to this and then this."
Uh,
Like, no, just calm down. Like, first of all, your body has to get adjusted. This is a new medication. AEDs are especially hard on the body. And so just smooth with it because when I first started taking Keppra, I thought I had a flesh eating disease because I overlooked I overdid my research and I thought that I got one of those flesh eating diseases where as of I don't know, I just convinced myself, but really it was just me overdoing it and the Keppra just lowering my threshold of um how my body fights off infections and stuff.
One of the comments on a similar question is from somebody saying, have a serious talk with your doctor about benzos as like Xanax to be really effective against anti-seizure medication and anxiety. What do you guys think?
I would say I like my clonazepam, but it's not for the anxiety, it's only for my
It's more the rescue medicine for me.
what else? I mean,
Xanax is kind of a hard thing to get prescribed, is it not?
Yeah, they don't prescribe it right off the bat.
No, that's
They
also
don't
something like benzos are a more last resort option
yeah.
because of how the dependency and how strong they are.
Yeah, after
So
the clobazam and clonazepam and that whole family.
yeah, so getting prescribed that, if someone's prescribed that, they're either rich and have like an inside person, or they genuinely have gone through a lot, or they just have a doctor willing to give them like anything, like I did back in the day when they weren't managing the psychiatrist as much. They would prescribe you anything. Now
Yeah.
they manage a little more.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, they have really clamped down a lot
Hmm.
on prescribing benzodiazepines. I have, like,
Yeah, they're so like
here, right
they're so
here,
iffy about even if you're prescribed it, they still.
clonazepam, 1 milligram tablets, quantity 90. This was
That's what
from,
90.
we
like,
have.
yeah,
You
they
got
gave me
90.
Wow.
90.
Supply.
This
Three
one was
months.
back in,
That's probably still a 1 month supply, right?
that was,
3 months.
that was a 3-month supply.
That's what I get.
What? You got
They
a
I'm
3 month supply of a class or
Trouble
schedule
getting
4?
shocking.
That's usually what they
Yeah.
Yeah.
get for the clonazepam. Is a 3
I get
months.
a 15-day supply.
So yeah,
Oh,
Get a 1 month
getting off
supply.
of
I get a
getting
3 month
off of it.
supply as well of my 1 milligram and my 0.5.
Yeah, it they
Yeah.
gave it to me like candy back then, and it was prescribed it originally for anxiety. It was in 2011, 2012, I think that I had been on it. So I don't know. I guess
But they don't really
maybe I
go
had one
over
of those
like
doctors or something back then. He was just about to retire. He didn't really care or something. I don't know.
they don't
No,
really go over a certain milligram for clonazepam though. They usually stay around the 1 milligram
yeah,
Yeah, I
more.
think
one.
1 milligram
If it gets
is the
worse, then they
maximum
start
that they.
raising it.
I'm
I'm
sorry, Angel. I
I
was
would
talking
love if
over
I
you.
could have 1 milligram 3 times a day, but or twice a day, but I digress for the myoclonics. But
Yeah, when I
I
started clonazepam, I'm still on it, one nightly, and then my first rescue med was the clonazepam dissolvable pill, 1 milligram.
yeah, the clonazepam is seriously like a game changer. I don't know. I highlight it so much. It's so good, and it's not like addictive either, in my opinion, like Xanax would be or something.
it's
It
just
can be addictive depending on your personality though. But I'd say the only way that
yeah.
my body is addicted to it is because if I don't have it, I'll have a seizure, but that's a different type of dependency.
Well, yeah. That's true even for people who don't have epilepsy. If they're
Hmm.
taking it like at that level daily and then stop, they have a seizure. So it is not just
But it doesn't give you
um
that like feeling, in my opinion, of calmness, I guess.
well, that's a phenomenon particularly common with benzodiazepines called the delusion of sobriety. You don't realize how altered your mind is while your mind is subjectively altered because you're not a good judge of your own state
I
anymore
like that
once
actually.
you're
That's
um
I like
so it's something like I do have a tendency to kind of reach for another. I'm like, well, it wouldn't
Yeah,
hurt.
I think I
Uh,
see what you mean there. That's a good because I don't really have anyone shining a light like that on me. So whenever I feel like my seizures start acting up, or I feel like it's going to, or I have like an aura, I find myself like reaching for the little stash that I keep just in case of a like just a surprise episode or something, or like a surprise, or I feel like an aura coming on or something, and I just kind of I find myself reaching for that too. So that would make sense for the for like the self delusion of that.
But I mean, for individuals like us, there is the actual reality of an aura coming on, and that, so
Yeah.
it's different from,
Yeah.
somebody who's just using it recreationally, who has that same stash over there and just like, I'm just
But
gonna.
then again, clonazepam wouldn't really be the first benzodiazepine that they would probably
Not usually,
for.
but
But
like
if they were getting
gram for gram, clonazepam and
yeah,
alprazolam are equivalently. The biggest difference is that alprazolam or Xanax comes on, kicks in faster, so that has a stronger reinforcing effect for the recreationally prone individuals.
yeah,
Um,
Holtz.
but at the same time, the clonazepam has a much longer half-life, so it takes a lot longer for you to come down. Um, so that kind of also helps to um, disguise the reality of how strong it is, because it has such a gentle
That's
um,
true.
decline.
Yeah, because I remember like one day I forgot to take my medication, like just my pill in the morning, my clonazepam, and immediately it's just constant jerks and things like that. And for for me, it's not like oh my gosh, I need to calm myself down. It's oh my gosh, I need to calm my myoclonic seizures down. I need to get this in my system so that I can stop this and continue on my day before I throw my entire bottle everywhere. So I do find having that anxiety right when I wake up of I need to take my medication right now. I don't take that. I don't take my Clonopin with medication or anything. It's the first thing that I do when I wake up is take my Clonopin because it's the first thing that I know is going to start my day in a way where I can function. But it's not like you said, it's not in the way of um a recreational user. It's a way of I genuinely need this because someone with painkillers who would genuinely need painkillers, it's not um and you build tolerance to it over time. I've been on it for so long. I think it's just part of my genetic makeup at this point. So
Yeah, I wish that I had a bigger supply. I mean, not even necessarily as big as yours, but I was um just butting heads with my pharmacist the day before yesterday over my Klonopin refill, because they were only giving me 10 a month um for and it's written take as needed for seizure auras, repeat every 6 hours as needed. Um, but the quantity is 10, and they refused to refill it because it was less than 30 days since the last refill. Um, and I was telling them, it's not monthly, like a daily mm, thing for me. It's
Yeah.
not like 10, I need it when I need it,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
period. And they're like, no, the doctor wrote it as a 30-day supply. So, it's like, so you're saying you think that I am rationed to 10 seizure auras a month and that's it that I'm allowed to have?
Yeah.
Like, and they're like, that's what the doctor wrote it as a 30-day supply, not an as needed supply. It's just the
Well,
directions that are as needed.
the only
So,
yeah, the only reason I have like an as needed supply is because I've forgotten to take some before. And so those ones I just throw into a little bottle and I just keep them for like my as needed. But other than that, everything else is daily. Like I have
yeah.
daily 1 milligram in the morning, 0.5 at night.
But I had just been at the neurologist the week before, and I had explained this to them that, living in Florida and hurricane season coming up, I'm really uncomfortable getting to the end of the month and being down to the very last
Yeah.
pill and, having a week remaining. Can I either get a larger dosage supply, go from half milligram to 1 milligram, or can I get a bigger quantity? And she said, yeah, yeah. And it turns out no, that's not what she wrote. So I don't know. I guess there was a mix up in communication somewhere. I'm gonna be gracious and not, just immediately jump to incompetence, but it's really, so now I'm left for the month of July. I can have no more than 10 auras.
That's awful.
Hopefully, in the month of July, I will be able to figure out this communication mix up. So, um, let's see.
That's how I
Fingers
got kicked out of the CVS for
Really?
communicate communication mix up. It wasn't a communication mix up. They just didn't give me my medicine. Like
Yeah.
I said, 15-day supply, and it always comes down to the wire. The clobazam. They always hold it. They give me like 3 days. Like then they got to pick it up within 3 days, or else uh, it's just insane. It's just the worst way to do it because of the classification of the drug. And, you know, I
Uh,
lost my temper, but I didn't do anything illegal. But, you know, I'm saying that officially on. I just yelled at some people.
Were you talking
got
about?
got a little emotional, that's all. Yeah, I've been
I just want
emotionally
to.
charged in retail establishments because of these sort of things before. Um, I don't know if there's been a new, like, recent policy change from the DEA specifically about benzodiazepines or something. But yeah, I mean, I remember, or maybe it's clonazepam that is harder to get because I had switched from diazepam to clonazepam before the Now, is diazepam used for epilepsy as much as clonazepam? Does anybody know?
I know.
I can look it up, but I didn't know that clonazepam was used for epilepsy until I discovered it myself, and I figured out that the reason it was working so well for me is because it's specifically for my form of epilepsy. But diazepam for epilepsy. Um, it says yes. Says it can help calm electric activity in the brain by increasing GABA's inhibit in, inhibitor action. Diazepam helps to block the abnormal brain signals that cause seizures. Diazepam is primarily used in epilepsy as a rescue medication to rapidly stop seizures, especially seizure clusters or acute repetitive seizures. Also used as an additional therapy for certain seizure disorders.
Yeah, I was given it because of clusters.
Yeah, so it says yeah, it says mainly it's saying like a rescue medication. But I know that the clonazepam, when I did my research on that, it's not as much as a rescue medication, in my opinion. And from what I kind of read, it's more of like a daily like take this. It'll help
Like a
stop
maintenance?
those myoclonic clusters, and that's exactly what it does. So it doesn't. It's a little blue pill does what it says it's gonna do. So
Different little blue pill.
the my clonazepam, but that's a
Yeah.
but the
Yeah.
diazepam says that it's more of a rescue. Which would make sense. I feel like I haven't tried diazepam, but the clonazepam I know lasts a little longer throughout like the day.
Yeah,
Uh,
it lasts pretty
and
long.
yeah, it lasts a good amount of time, and then usually around 8 o'clock or 9 I start being like, okay, I should probably take my 0.5 now. And then that'll get me through the night. But the
So you
you
take
have
the larger dose in the morning,
yep, 1 milligram to get me through the day.
but
And then
there's the methylphenidate in the morning too, right?
yeah,
So
so
do the two kind of counter? I mean, I'm sorry, not to pry too
no,
much.
you're fine. I have
But
all
it's
my fun
kind of
little guys right here.
I kind
So
of want to take notes because I want to get back on some sort of ADHD treatment. I want to know what
yeah,
has worked
so
for.
the well, for some reason the methylphenidate says to take it at bedtime. I don't know why it says that on here. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
But I take it in the morning. Um, he may have put it at bedtime because of what I'm on already. I don't know why it says at bedtime, but I take it in the morning. Um, I have a 90-day supply, so 3 month supply of 0.5 and 1 milligram of clonazepam. The 1 milligram I take in the morning, and that'll usually last me throughout the entire day. And then at night to get me through um sleeping and at night, I take the 0.5 at bedtime, or a little bit before bedtime for me. But it like for me, my myoclonic seizures are so like they're so prominent that if I don't take it, it's immediately bedbound. It's immediately my mom bathing me again. It's immediately my mom feeding me again. So I think the reason that they do make sure that I have my supply all the time is because they know how debilitating the myoclonic seizures are, and especially to be awake for it is like torture. Um, and it they don't know when or if it will go away. There's not much known on it at all. So knowing that this works and it has been working for the past however many years, I'm just gonna pray that it's gonna continue to work and that the clonazepam will continue to monitor those and keep them at bay. Because there's no interactions between the ADHD med and the clonazepam. Um, they work fine together. There's no interaction between the ADHD med and my Reviact. They work fine together. Uh, it's done a lot more good than it has harm. And again, part of that is playing the game and not consulting with your neurologist first because your neurologist is going to see it from the standpoint of we don't want to lower your seizure threshold at all. Your psychiatrist is going to see it from the standpoint of if you have a good one, um, we are going to slowly play this balancing act and manage this this other diagnosis that you have while still being very aware that you have one that if we give you too much of this will set off a seizure or something like that. But just make sure that you have a care team that listens to you and that is confident in what they're doing. Um it and that is not an easy thing to find. Like that is not an easy
Yeah,
thing to get at
don't
all.
always get to choose that kind of
No.
stuff.
No,
Yeah.
and I am so grateful that that one time I went to the hospital when I took all of my lorazepam or whatever. Um, uh, that's where I met my psychiatrist that I have now, who had me go through ECT. And while ECT still has me up and down every day, where I hate it, and then sometimes I'm grateful for it, but I hate it. Um, he is he is confident in what he's doing. He takes his time with me. He listens to me. And you'll notice that a lot of psychiatrists are like in and out. Like they just want to talk for like 2 seconds and they send you out the door. He does not do that. He sits down and we're in there for like 20-25 minutes talking. Um, and he lets my mom come in to give her side because she is really good at speaking on my behalf as well. Um, so it's really
And a third party perspective on things that, you're
mhm.
not necessarily subjectively able to judge or perceive is, yeah.
Oops. Yeah, no, it's just really matters like having like just a good care team, people that take you seriously, people that listen to you, especially like I think again for people with mental health issues, especially ranging in the bipolar or BPD range. Anything that messes with your personality or your perception, they kind of just don't take you seriously by choice, and it sucks. So it takes a little extra fighting and a little extra convincing. But my thing is we didn't consult with my neurologist about getting on an ADHD medication, but my psychiatrist is aware that I have epilepsy. He knows all about it. Keep him updated. And your neurologist can't manage your ADHD. Like, that's not what they went to school for. That's not what they, that's not what they necessarily are trained for. So it's good to have two different doctors when it comes to having two different diagnoses in two different fields of the medical world. But it's a lot easier said than done, so don't think that I'm saying that very lightly. Like, it's just, oh, I'm just gonna find someone tomorrow. I'm trying to find a therapist, and they're all like an hour away, and those are ones that specialize for people that have autism, and it's like, okay, well, how am I supposed to get somewhere that's an hour away? This is awesome, but then there's the virtual call, and I don't want to do that. But
They don't do medical transportation. You can reach out to insurance people.
I am working on that right now. We're working on getting me transportation to appointments and to work when I can get a job. So when I'm working on disability, my mom is more in charge of that than I am, because all of that stuff gets me really overwhelmed and sad, because it's just something I don't want to accept yet, and I'm just not there yet mentally. So mentally, I'm still not disabled, but in reality, I am disabled. So
You're on the East Coast, West Coast?
I am Midwest. Yeah, Illinois.
I thought that would be considered the East.
No, East Coast is
Chicago's
Jersey.
over there, right?
Yep, we got Chicago. We got
Yeah, I thought that was the East
we got
Coast.
everything over here. Michigan, Wisconsin, freaking the I states. Some of the I states.
Isn't Louisiana is that Gulf? No, that's Gulf Coast, right?
There's one that I didn't realize was part of the Midwest, was Mississippi. Is that it? Missouri?
Oh,
Is
yeah,
it the
Missouri.
one that has
Missouri.
Not Mississippi.
Sorry, if they have an MI and an S, that they got Miss, they both start with Miss. It's like the same thing to me. It groups together in my head.
Right, I got something here.
Kept raging CVS on Tonight Action News. That's hysterical. Oh my god.
I got some.
I feel like I would end up on the news for Kept raging. Like, that would not be good.
It's a very
Someone
Philly
admitted
thing,
to hospital
using
because
cocaine.
he has Kept rage.
Kevin, did you have something?
Oh no, I was just commenting on Angels when he grew up there. It's a very, very Philly thing that I don't know. Go on. Sorry.
Please, I need to feel less alone. I want to know if anyone else has anxiety from seizures. I have nocturnal partial lobe epilepsy. The last time I had a seizure was over a year ago, and I needed to up my dose of lamotrigine, and I hadn't taken meds in a week. So I know it's irrational, but I can't sleep at all. I have to wait until daylight to feel comfortable sleeping, and no one I know gets gets it. I feel so alone and I don't know what to do. Please, if anyone reading this has the same experience, I do tell me, and please, please give me any suggestions on anything that would help. Anything that would help. B12, shout out to Nature's Made. It helped me get nighttime sleep. Not all the way. It can help get some sleep, take out some of the effects, but yeah. Still got insomnia just because that's what happens when you take lamotrigine. Yeah, B12, shout out to Nature's Made.
I don't know
Don't take the
necessarily.
B12 at night, though, right? You take it in the morning, don't
I
you?
take it in the morning and at night. It says
And at
twice a
night,
day. So
twice a day.
Oh, sorry.
I've always, I don't
I
know,
thought
I've
it was
always
for
avoided
energy.
the B vitamin. Yeah.
oh no,
Don't they
I just
load
take
up
it every day just to
Monster energy drinks with
You
a
just
whole
live off of it.
it says 60 gummies to help with reduced fatigue in those with low vitamin B12. It supports brain cell function. That's what I heard. That's what made me start doing it. I was like, brain cell, that sounds pretty something I should be taking.
I don't understand where's the dietary supplement? It makes me eat more or less.
No, it says adults chew 2 gummies daily.
Yeah,
That's it. So I take one with breakfast and one with dinner. Well, I mean, my night and morning dose. It's been working out, if you can't tell. I started with 3, but yeah, now I'm back to a regular dose.
honestly, I think that maybe I did myself a favor by getting the 5,000 because my B12 is like always extremely low. And it says that don't exceed more than one of these. It's like it says that several times on here.
B12 is a hard vitamin to get,
It's
and B6 as well.
this one says it's for adults with very low levels as diagnosed. So I'll just take that diagnosis from when they were trying to give me shots, and I'll use that as my excuse as to why I'm using the 5,000 more. And I'll ration that in my head.
Gotcha.
I feel better. I genuinely thought I got the gummies. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you would have liked the gummy.
I don't know what happened. I got a little excited. I was like, maximum strength. That's what Pookie said. No, you said extra strength.
What's something you've never told anyone, but you feel like strangers like us would understand?
I forgot.
I'm gonna be right back.
That would be mine. I forgot. I don't think anyone else understands what I mean when I say I forgot. Besides you guys, because like everyone else, like, oh, okay, just give it a second. No, like I forgot. Like it's
Yeah, people don't understand that part.
I forgot.
I've got. What do you mean you forgot?
Like
Oh,
it's gone. Gone with the wind.
and I feel bad about it too. People are talking to me to my face, and I don't know how long they've been talking, and I
Yeah.
start drifting.
Were you even
And then,
listening to me?
and then they finish, and I look back and I'm like, with and I just nod or I say something like that's totally true, or yeah, I want me to sign
Yeah.
something. I don't
Yeah.
know. I just go along with it. I've been doing that half my life, just like
You just gotta wait for the reaction to know what to say next. Just be like,
I've been
oh,
not
okay,
just been
okay.
nodding
Then
my
like,
way through half
that's
my
not
life.
good though. No, no.
Oh my God, just
Could you reiterate what you said before though again one more time, just so I could really get the hang of it?
I,
You have to
I don't,
slowly get it in there so that they don't think that you're ignoring them, but you can't let them know that you forget everything, or else they will also use that to their advantage.
well, the odds are they aren't paying attention to me either. I'm just really, really not paying attention because it's not my fault, but
I'm paying attention, but my brain isn't. So I'm here with you.
Let me give
Mhm.
your
But no,
brain something to pay attention to real quick. It says, I lost my job due to a seizure. I have plenty of qualifications. I was looking for jobs, even out of my field of studies. Even a cleaning job would have been welcome after being unemployed for 11 years. So I dropped my standards and started doing car guarding at the mall where I was making enough tips to get by. But then the inevitable happened. I got a seizure during work, so I was sent home. And next morning, the manager asked me what happened, and I told him. And he asked, "Why didn't I inform them about that?" I said, "If I did, I would have left the job." He said no, so I told him that's why he left me with no choice. They won't even make me assign a liability waiver. I feel that if I can't do what, if I can't do what do, who has no education, I might as well get the type of seizure that kills you. 37-year-old, no job, dependent off my family, not allowed to drive. The list goes on.
I mean, it's a life changer. Epilepsy is well known to change the course of your life and definitely change your plans. I
Right.
hate the dependence thing too.
That sounds like he has a big change of plans because, yeah, you got to prepare yourself for stuff like this. But he didn't exactly say how new he is to it. Um, does say he's been unemployed for 11 years, but it doesn't say how long he had epilepsy. But yeah, um, I don't know. It'll
Well,
change your life. Time for a change.
like I said earlier, the opening question was, what did you do? I mean, you don't have to drive a car to get a job. I got the certification in IT. It was not easy, but I mean, there are, you don't have to go to college. I mean, there are areas where you get easily certified in areas of study and find work. I mean, you just gotta, there's other ways, there's other angles. So you just gotta make a left turn to go forward.
Lufa?
uh, I was gonna say it definitely highlight on the life changer because I used to work 3 jobs and I was like thriving. I loved it. Um, and now I like the thought of working stresses me out because I'm so caught up in the mindset of like I love being a good worker that if I have a seizure, it's on me and it's my fault and I'm a bad worker and the job doesn't deserve that and they don't deserve me and it's a really heavy thing, but I was when I went to the gym the other day because it's like how I've been slowly working my body up to eventually being able to work again. Um this older gentleman was like I don't know. All I asked him was a simple math question. I don't know if I said this earlier. I might have said it to my mom. I forget. All I asked him was a simple math question because I was just trying to figure out how much time I got down from my 1 mile swim, and it was 9 minutes. But it he's like, well, did you? He's are you in high school? And I was like, oh, no, I'm 20, and he's like, oh, so you're in college, and I was like, no. I was like, I have epilepsy and some other things right now that I'm dealing with, so I'm just taking life, um, and managing right now. And he's like, well, did you go to high school? And I'm like, I'm like, whoa, okay, wait a minute. All I asked was a simple math question. Wait a minute. And he's like, were you homeschooled? I was like, yeah, because I'm just trying to get him to like leave the subject now because I'm like, why are we talking about this? This has nothing to do with my swim. And he's like, well, I was just like, yeah, I was homeschooled. Um, and he's like, well, just because you have epilepsy doesn't mean that you can't go to college. And I'm like, wow, chill out. Like, whoa, slow your roll here. First of all, just because I have epilepsy doesn't mean that I should be swimming. So, I'm swimming faster than you. And look, just because I have epilepsy, I'm swimming way faster than you, Mr. Old Man. So, what's going on here? You got an epileptic that shouldn't be in the water, that shouldn't be in the bathtub, flying by you doing 1 mile, and you're telling me that I should be in college right now? Like, you have. And so I had to go on and explain to him, like, well, I also received electroconvulsive therapy, and I have two different forms of um, epilepsy that was just recently diagnosed, and I'm still trying to figure it out. And it's not a normal trying to figure out who you are at 20 type of brain thing. It's a piece of my brain has literally been electrocuted and targeted, and I have amnesia now, that it still takes about a year to 2 years to wear off. So I was like, everyone learns at their own pace, and I was like, just like everyone swims at their own pace. Because I kind of just threw that little silent jab in at him, which shut him up real quick. He was like, oh, okay. He's like, I see the epilepsy thing you wrote on your arm now on your seizure band. I was like, yeah, I wasn't just wearing that for shits and giggles. I wasn't, because usually you don't want to wear too much when you're in the water, so it holds you back from your swim. So I'd rather not wear the epilepsy band in the water because it makes me slower, but I do it for my safety. I'm just like, oh, dude, chill out. All I asked you was a simple math question. And now you're telling me that I should be in college just because I have epilepsy doesn't mean that I should use it as an excuse. And just like, all right, dude, slow down. I'm literally swimming. So, okay, but it's a life changer, and you might be able to do some of the weirdest things that you think you won't be able to do, and you might not be able to do some of the things that you were able to do before that were so easy. And for me, that was working. And one of the things that I'm able to do that I thought I wouldn't be able to do is swimming. So it's just a weird little game. It's just a weird little game.
I don't know if I've mentioned this, by the way, but I was homeschooled too. I just thought that was, I know you mentioned that, but I thought that was cool.
I wasn't technically homeschooled. I just spent
Well,
my entire school life in the psych ward. But I wasn't about to tell the old man that because I was going to lead down a whole other path, and I didn't want to go down there with him. I was ready to get out of the water, and I was ready to go. He was kind of getting on my nerves. Like, you should be in college. Okay. Can you pay for it?
hmm.
You're gonna pay for it. Sure. But only if you're gonna pay for it. I'm not gonna have my mom pay for it. I'm not gonna pay for it. I'm not gonna have someone, 'cause it's not gonna go to use right now. When I know that I can retain information correctly, I will do that. I will do what I am interested in. And also, you don't need to take your college course in order to, you don't have to pay thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a job. that is a good job or a job that you enjoy. If you want to do animation, you could take digital animation classes. If you want to do work in the mental health field, it's really easy to get in there. Um, so those are two things that I'm interested in, and I don't have to pay thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars to Yale or community college even to do that. And he is just stuck in his Speedo in 1986.
I got something here. It says older brother, 37 years old, diagnosed with epilepsy. So I don't know. I don't personally have epilepsy, but my older brother is 37, just got diagnosed with it. It's been a whole ordeal this past weekend. He was at a friend's house when he said his muscles got tense and saw himself falling forward and hitting his shoulder and head against the door. He started seizing immediately afterwards, and when he came to, he was yelling about his shoulder. 911 was called, and he's been in the ambulance. He starts having another full blown seizure that they weren't able to stop without medications. Oh, weren't able to stop with medications. So they have to fully sedate him to intubate him once he got to the hospital. I finally get there and see him all hooked up to the monitors, intubated, and with a big lump on his head. I was so scared I was going to lose my brother and if he was gonna make it. Thankfully, he seems to be pulling through now and he's talking and moving, but his whole experience has obviously traumatized him and he's now just incredibly anxious. I know I don't have it myself, so I can't even begin to imagine what it's like, but I can say why it makes my brother so anxious because now he has to go through life unsure or when or if ever it will happen again. He's never had a full blown seizure until now, and we were confused since it tends to start when you're younger. But he was involved in a pretty bad car accident in his 20s that we think may have kicked in and started all of this. He mentioned that since he would get these weird feelings in his body and his legs would cramp up and his chest would get tight, but it would usually last a few minutes before it went away. I'm somewhat familiar in the field of medicine, so I think this is what's called an aura. So it looks like he's been having having it do those the whole time until it finally happened just a few days ago. They also found a small subdural bleed in his brain but they said would go away on its own. Thank goodness. Words can't even begin to describe how thankful I am and that he's okay, but I want to try my best to hold him up himself so that this doesn't happen again. So, with all that said, I'm mainly here looking for anyone who could help provide tips on what he can do to prevent future seizures and what to do if one starts to happen. I don't know if I can ever make him less anxious, but I want to try anything to help him live his life. He only just started working with cars at Firestone from front desk, so I was also wondering how soon he would be able to wait until he returns to work. He loves playing video games and watching movies, but how can he return to do that without increasing his risk? Any amount of advice is greatly appreciated. In terms of meds, they currently starting him on Keppra. He also takes hypertensive metformin. Also, he does smoke weed every day.
I lost the question in all of that. I don't know what was, I mean,
He was basically just asking how to prepare for being diagnosed. How do you prepare to have epilepsy? Um, Being that she doesn't have it, she wanted to find out how to make him comfortable.
I mean, you can't really prepare for having it. You just, I mean, even the preparation itself is kind of an admission that you know something is already wrong, and it's kind of already the start of an epilepsy story. My story, when I describe it to you, of being diagnosed does not start right when the doctor first said you have epilepsy. It started when I was 15 years old, when you know, back when and I had my first MRI, first time I was suspected of something odd. So just by preparing for having an official diagnosis of epilepsy, it's already started, you know? Just, I, I don't know. Um, it's, I don't know if it's any easier by having it longer and drawn out like that, or if, it just, boom, starts out of the blue like that. But I don't know. I think that just don't don't try to look away from it. You know. If it is what you fear the most, then it's not going to change by avoiding it. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that would help that person at all. Um, I kind of feel like I'm just saying, you know, you can't do anything, but just by seeking treatment but you've started the process. Um, and
Yeah, I know what you mean.
that's the exact right thing to do, but I don't know. No, but that's the exact right thing to do.
Got something, Kevin?
Well, yeah, I mean, there are some things to help him. First of all, if he's just starting off with epilepsy, then um, that nanny cam that's always suggested, that could be a helpful factor. Um, First of all, know your triggers, identify them, figure out what helps and hurts your body. This is the first thing every person with epilepsy should know.
Okay, 1 second. Let me stop you there. She wants to know what to do to comfort her brother because she doesn't know anything about epilepsy.
Oh, her brother. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll comfort her brother. Okay.
Yeah, he's 37 and she knows nothing about epilepsy. So what can she do to comfort him, and she how much should she expect things to change, basically?
Well, it's I heard that he works at car place.
Yeah, at a front
Um,
desk, so he can still keep his job
this
possibly.
this this can still be helpful. I mean, if it's an administrative job, I don't see why that has to change. I mean, or at least keep that experience for and transfer that over to another job. I mean, try to get as much out of that as possible. Um, but also comforting a person. Wow. Yeah, just be there for them. I mean, listen to them, talk to them, anything you can do to, and then if anything ever seems wrong, just ask them. Yeah, right. I like that. Just please ask them. Even if it just please ask them. It's so important. It's so important to be empathetic and be there for people. I mean, I know even if you don't understand the condition, you understand your brother and ask how they're feeling. Just, that's so important.
One of the comments here says, firstly, is to reduce chances of having a seizure. Maybe he knows what his triggers are: lack of sleep, stress, diet, substance abuse, or typical. He needs to stay on top of his meds as much as possible. It all really depends on what his neurologist tells him. Maybe he knows it's flashing lights, or maybe he'll never know at all. You need to be prepared to have no answers, either either for a while or possibly never. Tell him to not take advice from some weirdo on Reddit, and to take his advice from a doctor instead. I am not a doctor, so do not take my advice. There is something controversial, though, of me saying make sure he takes his meds regularly and on time, and just be there for him. He will probably need you, not just physically helping, but emotional support as well. I'm years into this struggle and still struggle quite a bit. Yeah. If I was telling my sister that, that's what I would say. Yeah, he's going to need you, and just be prepared for things to have no answer at all.
I would just say have a support system ready. Know that you are going to need help and be willing to accept it when you do need it. Oh, but that was about supporting her brother. My bad.
Yeah. She,
Yeah, but that's good though. I mean, you got to continually build the network and help people, and that does help. I mean, yeah.
yeah, I got one here. It says, I'm on 1,000 milligrams of Keppra XR. Does anyone notice extreme fatigue in this dose? My doctor seems to think I'm crazy. I have other sleep issues too, but I'm really trying to figure out if Keppra contributes to my overwhelming fatigue. I say it does, but I don't take Keppra at the moment, so yeah. Um, I say all these pills mess with your fatigue. Do things to balance it out, like B12. Shout out to Nature's Made. Um, yeah. Suggestions, you guys? Anything you want to tell this person? We've all been on Keppra once or twice, right?
I'm on
Mhm.
it now and just still on cloud nine with no clobazam and more energy. So smaller dose. Try a smaller dose for a week and see if it makes a difference with your doctors.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not doctors, but yeah, try a shorter dose, like she said. Might work for you. 1,000 milligrams. Are you drowsy on your dose?
No, but I really like how these pills are scored, I think they call it, with the line in the middle, so they're easy to break apart and assume that I'm still, taking a decent amount. So instead of the 750. I'd break that one in half and just take half in the morning and half at night. And I did got a lot of extras built up.
Oh, nice. So, um, one of the comments here says, Hyper fatigue is real. I'm constantly tired throughout the day, but have a hard falling and staying asleep at night. Another person said, seizure medications cause fatigue, and you have to be careful when operating heavy machinery. I just realized I sound like the pill bottles, but I took the meds an hour ago and I'm still tired. Doesn't help that it's raining. Someone else said, yes, I've lived with huge issues with Keppra, and that's actually well known about this medication. So I don't know about your doctors. I recommend a combo of lamotrigine and Briviac. Briviac targets the same spot as Keppra, but more specific and therefore with less side effects. The Keppra is huge. No, Keppra is huge. No from my side. Keppra XR, what's that? Anybody taking that?
Extended release, the only one I ever took was a Carbitrol, I think it was. It was in a capsule. It was the brand name. It was really expensive, and that's why I think I got off of that one. But that's the one that I was on for the longest time. I'd never been on a medication for more than like 4 or 5 years before, and that was the Carbitrol. So the extended release seemed like it balanced out enough.
Okay, I'm gonna get everyone's answer on this one right here. It says I give up. I just give up from having my life ruined time and time again and being told I'm super sensitive to medication, thus meaning I get basically every side effect and more. I have nothing. I've lost all empathy now. I no longer feel emotion or love like I used to. I stopped caring and no longer see any future because for the fifth time it's gone tits up because of my epilepsy. I hope it takes me. Sorry, friends and family, but the pain and suffering isn't worth it. What would you say to this person? I say, don't give up. Haven't said how long you've had it, but shit gets worse and shit gets better. Before it gets better, it's gonna get 10 times worse. So that's what I say. Hang on. Don't give up. Evan, what do you say to this person?
So it could always get worse. Yeah, I mean,
What would
people
you say to this person?
people are always going to give you shit, but I guess you gotta keep living. Gotta keep living.
See you there?
My kids are being super loud, so I'm not talking on the mic very much, but I just said in the chat, this week has been absolutely miserable, and it's the closest that I've felt to just wanting to just not deal with this shit anymore once again. But you can't ever give up. There's always more. There's so much more. I mean, I don't know how old this person is, but I'm 24. I still have a long life to live. And having just lost somebody close to me to, you know, taking their life is so it's a reminder that, you know, even when you think that you're alone, you have so many people that care about you, that will miss you, that need you and love you. And we have to keep fighting for them. There's everything's gonna feel like shit all the time, especially with this illness, this condition. But there's so many reasons to keep going, so many reasons to fight, and finding this community. If this person can find this community, they need to come here because this is what I needed. You know, I needed this.
I needed it too. I'm glad it's here. Glad it went well. Um, Matt, what do you think?
So thanks to
I mean,
Pookie. Thanks for giving us all some place to chill.
Mark, what would you say to this person?
I forgot the question.
This person basically was talking about giving up.
Oh, yeah. How could I have forgotten that? Okay, yeah. I don't know. I would caution everybody from saying it'll get worse, because when you're in a suicidal state of mind, I mean, you don't know how close they are to actually giving up. You don't know where worse is for this person right now. So I personally, I wouldn't say it'll get worse before it gets better. But what I would confidently say is that it takes time.
It's better with time.
It'll take time wherever you're at, but it can get better if you don't give up. Um, I don't know why I'm contorting myself like that. Yeah, it can get better if you don't give up. It can get so much better. So please don't give up, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It gets
Do you
better.
guys get the vibe that diagnosed later in life is harder for a lot of people? That they seem
Yeah.
like the most overwhelmed and kind of no urge of learning more right away?
Yeah.
Somebody here
I
is saying they're seeking advice about. Oh, go ahead.
I don't know. Back when I was like about 6 years old, my best friend, the neighbor across the street, had epilepsy. He uh had juvenile absence epilepsy. So he would just get these, sit and then zone out and then just snap right back. Um, and that would happen in the middle of us sitting and playing, Monopoly. Um, so I knew from, you know, basically as long as I can remember that epilepsy is not just, big, scary, dramatic seizures on gurneys in hospitals, that it's not necessarily something to fear, and that, um, that, yeah, it can be handled, it can be lived with. He wasn't, um, he wasn't scared of them. And, so I didn't have epilepsy myself, but I guess by proxy wasn't scared of them either. So I don't know if that counts as being diagnosed at a young age, but having an awareness of it, I think, from a young age made it less impactful when I, learned that I was having seizures myself, suspected in adulthood. So I don't know. There's that.
Yeah, that
I
must
would
have made a big difference.
I would say that's really it's got to be a case to case situation, right? I mean, when I was diagnosed, it didn't really, it wasn't really that bad for many years. My teenage years were, it was just like maybe one or two seizures a year,
You ever feel
and
like giving up?
not when it was one seizure a year. It was, but when I got into college, it got terrible. It started getting really bad. Then the myoclonics kicked in, and yeah, I had my bottom out point. That was terrible, and I had a few, you know, points where I couldn't take it anymore, where I literally said, "I want to die. I don't want to live anymore." I said that to my mom. And yeah, those words came out of my mouth many times, and but yeah, I am not dead. Obviously, I did not do anything, and but I mean, other people who have, I mean, people who have gotten it when they're older. I mean, that person we talked about earlier. Um, I think the gentleman who with the girlfriend seemed he didn't seem to be dealing with it very well. But we know people uh, in this group who seem to be handling it very well as adults. Or yeah, yeah. I think it's just a case to case.
Those people I've met here are doing
Yeah,
decent. There we go. That's a good word for it.
yeah, certainly.
Lufa, what do you tell someone who's on the verge of giving up?
Not really sure right now. Not gonna lie, me and this person are kind of on the same page right now because I'm just also a little over it at the moment with everything going on. I've been struggling a lot, but I I don't know. I just keep telling myself that I did a lot to get to where I am right now with my meds. And maybe something better will happen at some point. Um, but they're not alone, that's for sure. There's other people that feel just like them that are, especially younger. I have like this expectation that I should be healthy. And so it just makes me not want to be here at all because it's like I should be healthy, but I'm not. So I should just not be here. So it's a battle no matter what. It's just a battle.
Something
Somebody
else
else
to
here says they were seeking advice for their mom, late onset unexplained seizures with severe confusion. I'm reaching out to understand my mom's complex neurological condition better. She's been experiencing epilepsy like episodes for about 7 or 8 years. Starting in her late 40s, early 50s, the seizures always begin with hand spasms, curling into strange shapes, and slurred speech, then progress to full convulsions with foaming at the mouth. Over time, these episodes have worsened. Post episode is always extreme confusion, disorientation, not recognizing family, gibberish, blank stares, which I know is common in epilepsy, but it lasts quite long. Her brain scans have always been normal to this day, every single time. The seizures are unpredictable and sporadic, with fatigue possibly playing a role, but no clear trigger. About a year ago, she started on Briviact after a seizure while driving made the situation unsafe. The most alarming recent episode happened on a plane trip. She was fine before departure, but later sent her incoherent gibberish text, was unable to understand simple questions from flight attendants, and had a blank, spaced out look. She managed to take Valium after sensing an aura, which seemed to prevent a full seizure. Still, she can never remember what happens and needs someone to recount everything. Doctors have diagnosed her with epilepsy by exclusion, but we're not fully convinced. We're especially interested in hearing from anyone with similar. Okay, one of the
I'm
most important parts of,
wondering
of
what.
this post,
Oh,
what they actually described, they did kind of summarize this one at the end, just giving bullet points of late onset seizures with normal brain imaging, severe prolonged postictal confusion and slurred speech, episodes triggered or worsened by fatigue, unclear causes. Yeah, these people are just looking for any insights on potential diagnosis because this is definitely the daughter speaking
Um,
about the mother who's been diagnosed, but just by process of elimination. So I would
second
say go
opinion.
to a more qualified place. Definitely second opinion.
It also depends on the mother's age. If there's any other health factors playing into her, if she's got what her diet is, if she has any, um, if it seems like maybe the mother is a little, I don't know if it said how old she is, but 50?
Yeah, she's got to be in her 50s now because they said the seizure
Yeah.
started late
Okay.
40s, early 50s.
Yeah, so I would honestly start testing for just basic health things, other things, because um, just due to human evolution, uh, back in the early ages, usually you would die around your 40s or 50s. So now that we're in advanced medicine, we have things to get us through our 40s and 50s. So I would just start testing for, if she's got anything going on with her heart or blood. Maybe there's something that is an underlying, which is causing the epilepsy. Stress is a big thing that can cause things within, um, like, can do a lot, especially if someone that's older. So there's a lot of things that could play into that, especially being in your 50s. 40s, 50s is usually when you start to feel kind of old.
It makes me smile that the jellyfish commented, I have all except the last item, which was Valium not working. But he said, I have all of those and I've had normal MRI and EEG and they don't mean much. Definitely get her to a neurologist.
Yeah, there's also the thing is they'll do testing and they say they do testing, but it's usually generalized testing, and sometimes what somebody is dealing with needs a specific test, a specific kind of test. It needs to be specifically for that diagnosis. It can't be for anything else. It has to be for that group of things. And unless you know kind of what that group of thing is, or you've got someone that's doing the research, or um, make sure that you're writing down times and triggers and all of those things so that you can kind of put the puzzle together of what area you need to start looking in to get the proper diagnosis and the proper treatment and the proper care team, especially as you get older, because your body naturally just starts to decline. And that's how anyone is. That's how the world is, actually.
Oh,
not in like a bad way, just like just like, you know,
No, I didn't say anything.
sorry. Sometimes I say things and I hear myself back and I'm like, maybe that sounded a little more morbid than I meant it to be, but I meant it more like a scientific way. Sorry. Apologies.
Angel, you there? This person said she needs some positivity. Says my son was just diagnosed with epilepsy. At 8 months, our son was diagnosed with epilepsy, focal aware seizures. He's he's almost one, and since the diagnosis, we've been in and out of the hospital as he will do long stretches, anywhere from a week to 2 months, seizure free. But then he'd have clusters that get worse over the course of 2 to 3 days, and they fizzle out, and he goes into another stretch of being okay. He started on Keppra, and they keep increasing the dose, and I think we are adding another medication in after this current hospital visit. I just need some reassurance about the trial and error of this medication. So he goes so long just doing fine, like developing well and happy and playful and moving around and getting into things. Then bam, he has one seizure and they begin to cluster, and it feels like such a setback. It's hard to see him living life like a normal baby and then end up in the hospital yet again, feeling tired, lethargic, and where our routine gets thrown off and he is away from his siblings and stuff. And his thankfully his norm is not having them every day, but it feels like they come out of nowhere and it is so disruptive and scary. Obviously, as a parent, I want to see him grow and him grow out of it. I've heard some kids do. I'd rather him not have to take the meds, but I want him to get to a point where we find the right medication to control them so they stop clustering and we don't end up in the hospital every time. I guess I'm just looking for anyone who can share any advice, what I can do, or just how to cope with stress and confusion as we go through this process. Just need some positivity as I sit in this hospital room yet again, wondering about my future and his future. I need water, like a lot. Need some positivity for that woman.
Just be okay, so she has other children, which means he's got siblings. Um, One thing I think just to be aware of as a parent is that he's gonna need a different kind of attention. And that it doesn't have to be disruptive. It just has to be kind of something that you as a family learn and grow with him. Because there's a chance that he may not grow out of it, and that's okay. It's just then learning how to properly accommodate for him. And right now, at this time, he seems like he's at an age where he's young and he's getting help at a good age, which is amazing. And if you are able to find proper treatment and he's able to, you look into different, um, maybe kinds of meals or activities, things that might help his growth and development so that it doesn't develop like worse, and make sure that his environment is not stressful, pick out his triggers. But being there as a parent and being supportive and being an advocate for your child is a great thing in the first place, and it's I'm assuming, it's hard to see your child in the hospital because my mom never likes to see me have a seizure, but um, the biggest blessing is that he's still alive, I'm still alive, we're all still alive, and you know, it just you're able to catch it early on, and maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's something that you guys as a family can figure out how to adapt to together.
How would you support this woman? She needs calm, kind words at this moment.
So she has a kid in the hospital with
Post
epilepsy.
seizure.
Oh, sorry. Didn't
Post
hear that.
seizure.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Uh, well, when I think about my parents having to deal with me in the hospital again and again, I don't know. They weren't panicky people. Sorry. I didn't mean to imply this person was, but just 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 always know that your child is the most important person, and try to be there for that person, and know that yeah, this disorder isn't it, it it changes throughout time. Our body chemistry is going to change, and for the better, for the worse, just be there for your child. And I, you gotta be the strong person. You gotta be their rock. I don't know. That will be comforting. Is it? Would that comfort you, Pookie, if you
I mean,
had a
this
kid
is
with
her
epilepsy?
child. Her child she's talking about.
I know. I know,
Um,
but
if I'd have to comfort my child
once
through this
again,
moment,
I not always always been on the receiving end of comfort. I haven't oh, this is um yeah. Um all right. Yeah, all right. Well, I got nothing else.
I'll move to the next one. No one else has support. Anybody got some supporting words?
I didn't hear the question. What was it?
It was a lady. Her son was just diagnosed with epilepsy. He's 10 years old, and yeah, he's 10. Oh, he's
Oh,
8 months old. Okay, you guys gonna make me read it all over again because I'm seeing stuff all over the place.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to read the whole thing, Ken. It's all good.
no, we got the basics. Yeah.
Yeah.
10 years old.
So he's 10 years old
He got diagnosed at 8 months.
at
So
8 months.
with focal aware seizures.
I mean, as somebody who's like constantly eyeing my children, trying to make sure that they're okay. My son, he scares me the most because he kind of blank stares sometimes, and I'll just like watch him very closely. I'm not the most empathetic person in the world, I guess, but when it comes to children, it's like a completely different story. And so I tend to panic very easily. But I think the best advice to give someone in that kind of position is to take things one step at a time, because each day is going to seem harder than the next. And
She also said she's sitting in the emergency room. She said she's just looking for some kind words, wondering about her child in the emergency room.
and there's so many people that are diagnosed. Like, I don't know why, but it seems like it's so much more common nowadays too, that are diagnosed with epilepsy, as babies, as children, as teenagers, as adults. And the most important thing to understand is that your baby's going to be okay. He will be. He's getting the care that he needs. You know, I know that most of us don't like hospitals, but when it's a child, I think they take cases like this a lot more seriously. Especially this mom sounds like she's doing her hardest to like be there for him. You know, she's um she's doing what she needs to do as a mama. And so I'm very sorry that she's going through this. And I hope she knows that all of us out here are thinking of her, and praying for her. And just to remember that he is going to be okay. He will get through this. His life may be harder than most, but as long as he's got you with him, he will be okay. And that's the most important thing to remember, is just to continue being there to comfort him. And also to remember to find some rest for yourself, especially if he's in the hospital right now. Remember to find some rest for yourself so that you can continue to be there for him as he's going through this.
Does anyone else get super restless legs when starting a new medication? I have a number of health conditions which I take different medications for, but when I start a new anti-epileptic, it makes me get super restless legs. When I first started Keppra, it took me about a month for it to calm down, and it was super intense. So I started taking topiramate about 3 weeks ago for migraine prevention, and have been having the same restless legs again. Anyone else? If so, what eases it?
Probably check your magnesium levels,
What do we
and
mean by
possibly take supplements for that. So,
do we mean restless leg syndrome or just like restless legs?
It's restless legs.
Just like if you're just like moving them all the time and
Yeah, he said when he takes new meds, it makes him get super restless legs.
I'm always kind of I mean right now I'm kind of still I'm always moving my foot, so I guess just look at it as you're always getting a workout for your legs. I don't know. I never really thought of it as, although sometimes I do accidentally kick people if I'm sitting next to them because I'm like moving my legs so much. I don't know. Uh, I don't really understand what he means by restless legs necessarily.
I got a different one if no one has the restless legs.
Like what kind of restless legs? It's like
Kevin, you restless legs?
I'm looking up something right now.
restless leg syndrome.
Well, the difference between RLS and restless leg syndrome, and some drugs are known to aggravate restless legs, especially if you're starting them for the first time. These include antidepressants, antipsychotics, antihistamines, certain anti-nausea meds, mood stabilizers.
Okay.
So
This person did say they had
Looking
a couple
closer.
different conditions, so they are definitely taking more medications than just an AED.
Well, I mean, I wish I understood more, like, how and why it's bothering them, I guess.
Hey, Angel's been on a bunch of meds. This question we just asked Angel was somebody saying that they do have multiple conditions, but their question is related to restless legs and whether that's something that you've ever experienced when starting new medication.
Um, restless. I I think that's a nerve, or I don't know, because I had a restless leg before medication.
Oh, this person said when starting new medications, that's what causes him to get these.
So, like, when they start new medications, they're basically kind of saying they get anxious and they have a restless leg.
Basically.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
like once again, we're not doctors, so I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's a anxiety thing.
yeah, that's an anxiety thing.
Yeah, that's why I was a little confused. So I was like, are you getting restless leg syndrome? Because that's where your leg is jerking you and keeping you like that's a whole other thing, which is why I kept like asking, is it? So I've been on a lot of medications too, and I was confused what they meant by restless leg. So I think that might just be an anxiety thing. I also have restless legs. I'm always moving around too. But I have not found a cure. I'm sorry.
like it.
I don't,
I mean, I used to
I
be
don't.
very restless, many years ago. I was a, pretty up and moving person, but when I started, I think when I started the benzos, I pretty much calmed down. That shut me down. No more wrestling.
I am
Nope,
always
no more
moving around.
moving.
I'm
So
always
how did they distinguish between your restless leg syndrome and, not just attribute that to myoclonic jerks from the epilepsy?
oh, the restless leg syndrome. Um Restless leg syndrome is like, okay, for example, I got restless leg syndrome because I did not sleep for 2 weeks. And because my body had went into a state of survival, we need to stay awake. I don't know why. I was in a manic episode. Um, when I was ready to go to sleep, my body was still used to um we need to stay almost like you're at war, right? So you're like, we need to stay awake, we need to stay alert. So if I was starting to doze off, my leg would jerk, and it's called restless leg syndrome. Like you can get it for a number of reasons, but that's why I had it. I've never had it again. I don't think. I only had it once, and it was because I stayed up for 2 weeks straight because I was in a manic episode and my body went into a state of survival. And so it wanted me to stay awake and alert. And so by doing that, my leg kept jerking me awake and it would not let me sleep. It would send an entire rush through my body. Um, and a good thing you asked is how you distinguish it from the myoclonic seizures. Myoclonic seizures are typically in your upper area of your body. Um, Typically, they can be in the lower area of the body. I've collapsed several times. But typically, myoclonic jerks are in your upper body, like your arms, your hands.
Did they recommend magnesium to treat anything to do with your conditions?
No, I've never been. No,
Okay.
no, I've never had the restless leg syndrome ever again. Um, that was a one-time thing. I don't know. I'm telling you, I've had the weirdest conditions for like just weird months, like the tardive dyskinesia, the restless leg syndrome. It was just the most random shit. I was like,
Yeah, I could see why they're not telling you to take more
yeah,
vitamins
because
since
it
it was
was
just a one-time thing.
yeah, it was a one-time thing, and then it was a product of it's a
So
product of
they
my
had the explanation ready.
yeah, and then I got that taken care of, and so I don't have tardive dyskinesia anymore. The reason I don't like taking antipsychotics and antidepressants is because of I think the trauma of the tardive dyskinesia. I have a medication that I hello that I can take that is supposed to really help with my BPD, but it can cause tardive dyskinesia, and tardive dyskinesia is fairly not rare, but it's not common. Um, and I just don't want to risk getting it again. Um, and I'm just scared to take antidepressants and antipsychotics, especially antipsychotics. It's just a fear of mine. And I'm just not ready to do that. So
Hi,
it's
All right,
okay.
Raven.
now Raven can hear the icebreaker.
Oh yeah, Raven. Today, question is, what have you done? Oh man, do I need to go back to this? What have you done to what's the word? You guys know the question. You guys been
Quality of
asking.
life.
There you go. What did you do to improve your quality of life um, since you've got epilepsy?
I
I think that's the question.
I don't know that I have. I only started having seizures like 2 years ago, and I was only diagnosed with epilepsy like 6 weeks ago. So um I I haven't, I guess, found a way to improve my quality of life. But it was already kind of in the trash can. Like, I'm bedridden from another illness. So uh I am not the quality of life champion over here at all. I'm just trying to love my people, let them love me, and snuggle my dog and remember to breathe.
Gotcha.
That's beautiful.
I don't know if it's beautiful, but it's all I got.
That's
It's
exactly
realistic.
how we all feel,
It's
especially when first
realistic.
diagnosed.
You arrived right on time. Question is, do you have any tips on how to avoid being destructive if your medication makes you mad? I'm starting to feel incredibly irritable and have the energy of being on the start of puberty and actively being provoked. I am not used to being angry to any extent, so I am worried that I don't have the strong tools to try to avoid acting on it in a healthier way because of significant personality changes I've been having in the last year due to epilepsy, paired with being in a constant state of stress because of that. That can't really be properly addressed because of how I feel like I am forced to approach things. I am worried that I might actually be a menace. I've started taking birth control on 550 milligrams of Lamictal, I am starting levetiracetam in a bit, so I have something that doesn't interact. So it could maybe be fast withdrawal due to lower levels of lamictal combined with the BC hormones. But who knows? Does anyone have any tips?
Well, I took some emotion therapy, and part of it was writing down why you felt or why you feel this way when you feel that way at the time. It could be one word or whatever, like, you feel angry. Why did you feel that way? And, you go through it right there and see if you can't find anything, it could just be the medicine. Um, but at the same time, a lot of it is trying to, I would say, soak up more sun and stuff that helps you build up like calmness and patience, whatever you think of that helps you um build up your calmness and your patience.
Anyone else have any advice?
This is a young person.
Um,
Really,
sounds fairly young. It's a woman.
exercise. Always helped me. Yeah, when I gotta say, I've always been an advocate of good diet and exercise. So I think staying moving, uh, getting out, getting out those, just moving and a good routine. I think that getting out those negative emotions and I think that really helps.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it
go
looks
back on this one. It's asking, do you have any tips on how to not be destructive when you're on the medication? That was the question.
Oh,
Trying to
I
figure
think
out to not how to be destructive on medication. They're a destructive person. I'm taking it as only on medication. That was the question.
oh, uh, I think that's the answer. I think that will help.
Any of you guys medication make you angry?
Man, I don't know if it's the medication or if I had a focal in my sleep, but I took a nap today and I woke up feeling like enraged for no reason. And the only thing that's been getting me through it is just like closing my eyes for a second and centering myself and breathing and reminding myself that this is just a feeling and I don't have to let my feelings dictate my behavior. But I did have to take some moments and like go hide myself in the bathroom so no one would bother me and just what is going on and like just try to breathe through it. So I guess my tip is like breathing and um mental reminders to yourself that it's you don't have to act on the things even though you feel them and it's probably just your medication.
Got some comments. I'll read the comments. Somebody said this really sounds more like birth control side effect than lamictal. Lamictal is a mood stabilizer. It usually causes things like brain fog or lethargy, not even not anger problems. Birth control and seizure meds like Keppra are the ones that come with emotional problems. Someone else said, I talk more about your behavior concerns with your neuro before Keppra. Keppra can create and exasperate behaviors, anxiety, depression, and anger. Thus the nickname Keppra Rage.
I think that so they're not on Keppra,
Uh,
they're on Lamictal and
yeah, it's on the Lamictal.
okay, so
Lamictal.
that is
Lamictal's a bipolar
that is a mood.
treatment.
Yeah, it's dual use.
Yeah, because I'm on the
It,
Moxigene, which is generic version. And what did you just say again?
me?
Angel? I never heard that before.
They use it to treat bipolar people.
Yeah.
The dosage of I forget the generic name, but the dosage of Lamictal that they use to treat bipolar disorder is a tiny fraction of what is used to treat epilepsy. The doses, the active anticonvulsant doses of Lamictal um are
It
I don't know, about like 4 times what is used, like the maximum dosage that is used as a purely mood stabilizer drug by psychiatrists to treat bipolar. So it's not really like the same thing. You're not gonna get, equivalent doses to treat both of the um, conditions if a patient has both of them at the same time. You're
Yeah,
gonna
because when I was on Lamictal,
hey,
they kept raising it and it kept making the
yeah.
Keppra like worse.
Well, when I was on okay.
Tegretol, Depakote, Trileptal, those are a lot of other medications that kind of fall into this category too, that it sounds like anger outbursts are more common in the patients who take these medications for the mood disorders. Kind of, um, like what Mark was saying, the dose is different. So if they're taking it for the mood instead of the epilepsy, then they're probably taking a higher dose or more concentrated or something.
Also, to someone who's experienced really severe side effects from birth control, um, birth control itself can cause really severe mood changes and can even produce like the same kind of side effects as like Keppra, which is like, the thoughts of doing something to yourself and uh, rage and stuff like that. So, probably suggest talking to your doctor about maybe trying a different birth control or just kind of changing the meds around because they could be interacting together too.
Maybe just talk to your doctor about, something like a medication change or something.
Please take your medication as prescribed or whatever works for you. We're not doctors.